If you're thinking about going keto, give me just a couple minutes of your time. I want to explain a few reasons you may reconsider. More specifically, I'm going to explain who should be on a keto diet and 6 reasons the rest of us should avoid it. Because no matter your nutrition philosophy, the ketogenic diet was designed for a reason and does serve a purpose. But you need to know if it's the right purpose for you. So we're all familiar with the ketogenic diet by now, but maybe you're still wondering what ketosis is or what ketone bodies are. There are a few things about this way of eating that not everyone understands. Without getting too sciencey, the keto diet restricts carbs and protein and gets most of the calories from fat. Most people choose to go keto to lose weight. Some also do it in hopes of regulating hormones and controlling blood sugar. But the original reason the diet was developed will surprise you. It was originally created to treat seizures. The diet was actually been around since 1924 when it was developed to treat a rare type of epilepsy found in children. It's called refractory epilepsy. It's a condition that doesn't respond well to anti-seizure medications. So how did it go from being an anti-seizure treatment to becoming one of the hottest diet trends? It all has to do with ketosis. Let me explain the process. When you restrict carbs and protein and consume mostly fats, it leads to a rise in ketone bodies and a drop in blood glucose levels. And this is what we call ketosis. By the way, if you want to look and feel your best without being deprived and relying on dieting, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified each time I put out a new video. So people on a keto diet don't eat whole grains, legumes, fruits, and even some vegetables. Usually these types of foods are your body's energy source. But when it doesn't have these foods to burn as fuel, it begins metabolizing fats for energy instead. And it's this process that creates ketone bodies. It sounds pretty straightforward. However, the production of these compounds doesn't start until you go about 18 to 24 hours without eating, because this is the point when the liver's glycogen stores are completely gone and it switches to alternative fuels to keep your body and brain running. However, your brain still needs about 30 grams of glucose each day, because it's not until 5 to 7 days after going without food that your ketone production is able to meet most of the brain's needs for energy. So you might say ketosis is one of the body's survival mechanisms, not a diet intended for long-term use. My goal with this video isn't to discourage you, but really to make you aware of the long-term research that's been done about this way of eating. After all, my wish is that you become as best informed in order to keep yourself and your family happy, healthy, and thriving. So before you try the ketogenic diet, I want to give you a few reasons to reconsider. First, it's more difficult than you think. Fasts lasting less than 3 to 5 days don't actually induce significant ketosis. Most of the weight you lose during these shorter fasts doesn't actually come from fat, but actually from glycogen depletion, muscle tissue breakdown, and the loss of fluid. But this quick weight loss is what gets most keto dieters excited, because you can drop several pounds in a couple of days. Unfortunately, you'll only regain this weight as soon as you start eating normal foods again. The second reason to reconsider keto is that it's not intended for long-term use. So there are actually a group of people who keto advocates claim thrive on a ketogenic diet. They're indigenous groups who still live off the land and eat large amounts of elk meat and whale blubber. But when they studied these people, they uncovered something interesting. They don't actually enter into ketosis. Their unique genetics prevent them from entering ketosis. It appears the body resists ketosis altogether. It prefers glucose for energy use. In fact, animals and other organisms forced to go long periods of time without food, like hibernating bears, don't even enter ketosis. When it has to, the body can run on ketones, but it appears to be more of a survival mechanism, not a preferred source of energy like glucose. And hey, if you don't already, come follow me on Instagram where I'll give you effortless solutions to lose weight. No frustrating diets, complicated macro counting, or feeling deprived. I'll teach you how to make weight loss just a seamless part of your life. Okay, the third reason to reconsider keto, it's not a good solution for treating diabetes. And that's one of keto's most popular claims to fame. But a meta-analysis of studies lasting more than a year showed no difference in glucose levels of those on the ketogenic diet. Sure, you might see a temporary improvement in the short term, but long-term studies show no benefits for diabetes. There was an MIT study where researchers increased the carbohydrate intake of subjects by hundreds of grams a day, yet their insulin levels went down. They gave them whole grains, beans, fruits, and vegetables. But how does it compare to a very low carb diet? You'd think it would be lower insulin levels. That's what we've been told, right? But what they found was that there is no significant drop in insulin levels on very low carb diets. Instead, there is a large increase in bad LDL cholesterol, and worse, it had a terribly crippled artery function. And that leads me to my fourth reason not to go keto. It's not good for your heart. Studies continue to show an increased risk of heart disease associated with animal-based foods like lamb, beef, pork, and chicken. And the keto diet in particular has been shown to worsen levels of both good and bad cholesterol, which increases your risk of heart disease, currently the leading cause of death in the U.S. It's also not a good solution for weight loss. We all have a friend or two who have lost weight on a keto diet, right? After all, it's one of the main reasons someone goes on a diet. And yes, most people do lose a lot of weight when they first begin a keto diet, but we need to look at where the weight loss is coming from, because unhealthy body composition is the last thing you want. The weight loss associated with a ketogenic diet, especially at first, comes from a depletion of glycogen, water, and lean tissue, not body fat. However, maintaining that weight loss over the long term on a ketogenic diet is so extremely difficult. You have a couple of things working against you: a monotonous diet and your brain's hunger for its preferred fuel, carbohydrates. And as soon as someone on a keto diet begins to eat more carbs, they go out of ketosis and their appetite returns with a vengeance. The sixth reason is that it leads to inflammation. This kind of blew my mind when I first realized it, but did you know you're actually more bacteria than you are human? Kind of crazy. You have about 3 million bacterial genes in your body and 23,000 human genes. That large bacterial community is what makes up your microbiome. And it's so important for your health because it produces all kinds of substances that affect your health, either positively or negatively, depending on what you feed it. A high-fat diet, for example, is found to reduce the good bacteria and increase the bad bacteria in a large intestine. And when there's an overgrowth of bad bacteria, it leads to inflammatory bowel disease, infections, and even cancer. A high-fat diet also leads to a leaky gut, and as a result, undigested proteins and toxins can leak into your bloodstream. This triggers an inflammatory response like reduced glucose tolerance, which can eventually lead to diabetes, weight gain, and oxidative stress. I've covered 6 reasons to reconsider the ketogenic diet, but that leads to the question we need to answer: who should be on a keto diet? Well, it really seems to be a diet best left for its original use: pediatric refractory epilepsy. That's a mouthful, but the long-term research really suggests it's a diet that should only be used for children suffering from seizures that can't be treated with typical medications. If weight loss is your goal, there are far safer and healthier ways to achieve it. And the same goes for blood sugar control and hormonal balance. Because here's the thing, even the patients who this diet was designed for still experience side effects like kidney stones, restricted growth, fatal heart conditions, high cholesterol, and so much more. But like I said earlier, my desire is to keep you well informed in order to keep you and your family healthy, happy, and thriving. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can catch my simple nutrition tips each week to help you reach your goals, maintain them, and build upon them.